If you want to dominate on Hall of Fame difficulty as a point guard in NBA 2K24, you first have to determine your play style. I am a playmaking point guard, and to determine which play style you are, here's a simple list of 4 different categories. Number 1, the playmaker. As a playmaker, you prefer to pass the ball, you prefer to get assists, and your build probably has a high pass accuracy. The second category is a shooter. Pretty self-explanatory. If you're a shooter, you have a high three-pointer on your build. You prefer to shoot threes. The third category is a slasher. If you have a high driving layup or a high driving dunk and your three-pointer isn't as high, maybe you have some athleticism and some quickness, then you fall into the slasher category. And last but not least is the mid-range category. If you have a high mid-range as a point guard and you prefer to work in the in-between area, then this is you. Alright, now that you determine which play style you are, one of the most important things to do as a point guard is to be able to run the pick and roll as the primary ball handle. This is your best friend, and depending on what play style you are, you will run this a little bit different, which is why it's important that you determine your play style first. I am a playmaker, so the clips that you will see in this video are what a playmaker does when it comes to the pick and roll, but I will show you examples of every other type of play style in this video. The reason the pick and roll is so important on Hall of Fame difficulty is because it is very difficult to ISO one-on-one versus the CPU. The AI does not really react to most of the moves that you do. They tend to stand still and then will cut you off when you try to drive, which is why having a screener helps a lot. But if you don't know how to read a defense properly, or you don't know the timing of the pick and roll or the different reads that you need to make, then it's going to be very difficult for you, and you're just going to be out there going left to right trying to find a way to get open. But once you figure out how to run the pick and roll, everything becomes easy on offense. So let's start off with all the different type of reads that you can make in the pick and roll. The first read that you will make is going to be on the defending big man that you put into the screen. For example, in this clip, it is Vucevic. When you're coming off the screen, you want to read Vucevic. You want to see if he's playing the middle, if he's playing you, or if he is playing the roller. If he is playing the middle, then make sure you are lined up with your roller. In this case, it is Bam Adebayo. Make sure you guys are on a horizontal line together. Keep the pace the same between yourself and your roller and force that defender to pick a side. If he does not pick a side and you're getting close to the basket, it's going to be an easy lob, or if you go up with it, it will probably be a foul. In this case, I threw a lob to Bam Adebayo because Vucevic slid over too much to play me. This is the first read that you will make in the pick and roll, and this is also the easiest read that you will make because you can make it pretty quick. In order to make this read easier, you need to take the right angle. You need to make sure that the defender guarding you is properly hit by the screen. And remember, you have to keep a straight horizontal line with the roller. This way, you're leaving that help defender, in that case, it was Vucevic, on an island, and he has to pick who he is going to go guard. Now, I don't have the best shooting on my build. My mid-range and my three-pointer is right now mid to low 70s, so I heavily rely on passing and finishing at the rim because my layup is about an 80, which means I can hit floaters. So if Vucevic was to slide over, then as a playmaker or a slasher, then you try to score the ball. In my case, as soon as I see the help defender slide over to the roller, I will take a floater 90% of the time. I have Jimmy Butler's layup package, and he has a pretty solid floater in his package, which I really like. But if you guys don't want to take a floater, then you could dunk the ball. I just don't have dunk on my build, so sometimes layups can get blocked. But you can equip a scoop layup. Scoop layups are in some of the layup packages, and to see if you have the scoop layup equipped, then while you're running towards the rim with the left stick, push the right stick to the same side that the ball is in. So if you are going right, you push the right stick to the right. If you are going left, you push the right stick to the left, and you should get a scoop layup. But the most important part here is reading the help defender that you put inside of the pick and roll. Once defenses start getting smart on Hall of Fame, which they will, then they will start sending weak side help. And this is where your second read comes in. Once you get a couple successful reads off that pick and roll, when you put that big man in the pick and roll, this is when they will start sending the weak side help. And this is going to be your second read. The weak side help is most likely going to come from from the corner defender. He is going to leave the corner and the defense will rotate on the perimeter to make up for it. So after you make your first read and determine what that big man is doing, who is he playing, then you need to look at the weak side help defender. If that big man slides over to you and you think you have that easy lob, that weak side defender could come over and stop you from throwing it or make the finish difficult for your roller. So once that big man slides over to you, your next read is not to throw the pass. Your next read is to look to see if that corner defender has come over. And if he has, then you either throw a hook pass to your teammate in the corner or you throw a hook pass to the player that is standing next to your teammate in the corner. So on the wing, this could be a difficult read to make because it takes a little bit more time to develop. You have to go through two different reads and you have to make sure that you are playing with pace. Pace is very important in the pick and roll and it's something a lot of people don't have, which is why they struggle. Remember to always make sure that you are on a horizontal line with your roller, no matter how you have to do it. Be creative. Make sure you get your primary defender to hit the screen. Fake a move to the opposite direction and then go back into the screen and really get him into that screen so you isolate that defender in the pick and roll. As soon as you do that, sometimes you have to wait for the roller to actually roll. So slow down your pace and make sure you guys are on that horizontal line together. At the beginning of this video, I said you need to determine your play style. I said I was a playmaker, and that's why in every single one of these clips, you see me most of the time making a pass. If you notice, I take about 2 dribbles every single time after I come off a screen before I make a read. And this is the timing that I have for a playmaker. But if you are a shooter or a mid-range player, the timing is going to be a little bit different because you have the ability to stretch the floor or pull up for a mid-range shot. In all these examples, you could see me taking 2 dribbles after I come off the screen and then throwing a lob or hitting a floater. If you are a 3-point shooter, when you come off the screen, you might not even have to take another dribble. As soon as you get your player into the screen and you square up to the basket, your first read is going to be the same. But this time you're going to see if the big man that you put in the pick and roll drops or comes up to head you, or some people like to call it a blitz. The timing is going to be completely different from what you see in these clips if you were a shooter. After you come off the screen, you're not even going to take another dribble, which means that you're going to have to read this help defender even quicker. But it's still the same concept. If you are a mid-range player, instead of taking 2 dribbles like I am here, you're going to take 1 dribble while reading the defender and then maybe pull up for a mid-range shot. If you are a shooter or a mid-range player, you're going to have to read the help defender in the pick and roll quicker than the playmaker or slasher. But as a shooter or a mid-range player, you don't really have to get to that second read as often. Those are the 2 major differences between the play styles. Just remember, if you are a playmaker or a slasher and you can't get the timing right out of the pick and roll, number 1, just make sure that your defender hits the screen, and after your screen, go wide so you could create a horizontal line between you and your roller. The timing should be about 2 dribbles before you make your read. After your player dribbles 2 times, you have to make a decision. If you are a shooter, then as soon as you come off this screen, you need to read if the help defender is dropping or coming up on you. And if he is dropping, do not take any more dribbles and shoot the ball. If you are a mid-range player, read the help defender to see if he is dropping and take about 1 dribble and then pull up. That is the main difference between play styles and why I said it's so important. But all of the concepts in the pick and roll and all the reads are going to be the same. I know all this could kind of seem confusing, but the pick and roll will save your life on offense against the Hall of Fame CPU. Once you can learn these reads, Hall of Fame is the most fun difficulty there is. It is the most realistic difficulty there is because the computer can keep up with you. The hardest part about the pick and roll isn't even necessarily the reads. It's making sure that you get your defender to hit the screen and making sure that you keep a pace with your roller, making sure that horizontal line is there. After that, it's all about timing and reading the defenders. But if you could practice just one thing after watching this video, practice coming up with creative ways to make sure that your defender is hitting the screen cleanly and you are taking an angle in which he does that. All the 2 dribble, 1 dribble, 0 dribble stuff will come with time and you'll get that timing naturally without even having to think about it. But if you want to practice one thing, it is coming up with creative ways through your dribbling animations to get your player into the screen. A lot of people, once they get this player into the screen, they just immediately hold sprint sprint and run straight to that open space and try to shoot it. But remember, this is where the reads start. This is where you could break down the Hall of Fame defense. And this is the most satisfying part of being a point guard. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments and I will do my best to help anybody out. If this video helped you, let me know down below in the comments, and let me know by hitting that like button. Consider hitting that subscribe button if you guys are new. Let me know if you guys want another video going more in depth about the dribbling and how I do my dribbling and some of my dribble animations and how to activate them. Or if you need help with anything else, let me know if you guys want a video about it down below in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Zite. Peace.